with the flow.
Can't forget about Coach Bergen. Of course. And if you don't got Coach Bergen, you ain't got shit.
What's up, Coach Bergen here, and welcome to the Coach Bergen Show, episode 47. Our guest today is, here we go. Our guest today is Billy John. Oh, I just accepted it. Where is he? Is it working? Is it working? There we go. We got it.
You all right, mate?
Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad, mate.
You seem aggravated. What's wrong?
Yeah, mate, I was giving it a bit large last time I was on about that, tournament. Went out, didn't I? Second round.
Oh,
So a bit miffed about it, but, how are you, mate? How are you doing? I'll try not to be too sour all day.
no, you're good. You're good. Life is what it is, but it's not how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, right?
Yeah, I guess so, mate. Yeah, spot on there.
But the good news is, very soon you are going to be competing for the CBS Pro Wrestling Championship, and that's only 3 episodes away. Episode 50. So that's why I wanted to make sure we got you on for a second time. So that way, that's going to be your third guest appearance, and then that way, because I had originally said that whoever is the first 3-time guest will get to host an episode. And so now you're both going to have your third appearance on episode 50, and you'll get to compete in all these different challenges. And then the winner walks away as the CBS Pro Wrestling Champion.
Looking forward to it.
So tell me about that tournament. How did it go?
Yeah, mate. Well, I went. Yeah, mate. I got a train down to Margate, and once I'd kind of, gotten used to the smell and, the people that were there, which wasn't too pleasant, got myself down. First round went good. I felt on. I had Kaido from the first class fires, as I mentioned, and just beat him into a fine powder, really. Just spears, German suplexes, headbutts. All the nasty stuff that I'm really good at doing, beating people up, really good at it. And, it was really cool, and then, the second round happened. They put me against a big old fella who I've wrestled before, Big Bubba Quaid. And, do you know what? I kind of just didn't really fancy it. I didn't necessarily, I didn't lose, but I just didn't, I wasn't feeling up for it. Didn't really want to carry on. I was like, I didn't want to be in Margate any longer than I had to. Thought I've got better things to do. But no, he beat me. Yeah, he's a big lad. I'm 0-2 against him now, so I've got a bit of a problem with him now. So I'm gonna have to hopefully down the line find him and do some more things to him probably at some point. I don't know.
Yeah. But, it gives you a good storyline for the future, right?
Yeah, it does, mate. It does, yeah. At the end of the day, it's what I don't like losing. But when I lose, I will at least want it to be someone better than me. And
And you don't feel like he was better?
Nah. On that night, yeah. You never know. I'm not making excuses, but I had a bit of a cold. It's not an excuse. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. Bit of a cold. Someone put my laces on the wrong way around, so I couldn't figure that out. It was all a thing. It was all a whole thing. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. But that's happened now. I'm not dwelling on it. I'm not dwelling on it. Oh, I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm not going to let it get to me.
Yeah. All right. So what do you have, like, moving forward from that? What is the next big thing you have going on?
I'm taking some time, to wrap my head around some stuff, get back to do some graft, get training, get eating right. Hopefully something will come up soon and someone will give me a call and I can come down and, batter somebody, which is, as I said, I really enjoy doing. But you know, I think a lot of promoters nowadays, you know, don't really fancy having someone come in and, you know, beat their big people that they have a lot of stock in and they really enjoy. So, you know, I understand it. I do understand it. I do take it all with a pinch of salt. But I think there will be some things coming up, hopefully, that I'll really sink my teeth into and really start getting myself out there a bit more, you know, and let people know who the big Bosch man is.
Of course, of course,
Yeah.
of course. All right, cool. So, outside of that tournament, how's everything going with your life?
Yes, good. Yeah, good. Very good. As I said, I'm literally just working. You know, trying to keep my head down, trying to keep consistent. Trying to, as I meant, just eating right. You know, training, both wrestling training and also just get myself in the gym. Steps. You know, I've got a brilliant PT, Dan Bryden, who's exceptional. You know, he really keeps you kind of accountable and he's really handy in with feedback and advice and understanding that obviously every day isn't going to be perfect. You're going to wake up some days, you're going to feel like crap. Like today, I woke up, had a bit of a rough couple of days. I was just like, well, some stuff had come up with work. I couldn't really do what I wanted to do in the routine I've kind of built. And but no, I'm still going to get myself down at the gym. I'm still going to train hard because you never know when opportunities will present themselves, and you need to be ready. So I like to try and be a little bit Cardonery. I like to try and be always ready. I like to try and have that arrow in my quiver where I can potter about, do my thing. But then if someone gives me a text or a call and goes, Langers, need you down here this time to kick this person's ass, yeah, I'm there, and I'm in the right nick for it. Like I'm in the right shape, I'm in the right mindset, attitude. I'm just trying to keep myself a bit consistent. Life gets in the way, and
Yeah.
But yeah, we're working hard and we're just trying to get through it, really.
Right. The only way out is through.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. That's spot on. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You're staying in shape so that way you don't have to get into shape when the opportunity comes, and it's better to be ready for the opportunity than have to get ready for the opportunity.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because if you're already ready, then that gives you more of a window of opportunity, really, where you can take more short notice matches. And it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Definitely staying in shape even when you're not scheduled to compete or have anything in the pipeline, whatever you want to phrase it as. But that's smart. That's smart. So it looks like we got some questions that came in. What are his thoughts on the GOAT Ace Taylor? And that is a question by Ace Taylor.
Ace Taylor, I funnily enough met him at the Margate tournament, the Jewel Wider Open Invitational, and I first saw him and I thought that someone had, it was bringing your kid to work day. I could see through him. He was, probably about 80 pounds soaking wet. I'll convert it to your metrics, mate. Don't worry, I'm all over it.
Yeah.
No, he's
making it comprehensible.
Yeah, he was. He's a. He went out first round. We can't all, be physical and capable and up to the challenge and he's got a mouth on him. He's a good kid. But he's one as well. He I don't know what it is, but he knows how to get under my skin. Backstage he was kind of looking me up and down, and I was kind of looking at him, and I was like, I don't want to get in any trouble here because I'm not scheduled to fight you today, but we can always go out the car park, and I can always have a parking lot. Pardon me, have a little conversation with you out there. That's always doable. But no, he's a good kid. He tried really hard, and at the end of the day, you've got to give him a hand. He really tried really hard, and that's what wrestling's all about. It's trying your hardest, and it's giving it your best, and he really tried.
Right, putting in that effort, and putting on the show.
Indeed.
All right, cool. So I know I've asked you this question before, but do you have any dream matches with anyone?
Yeah, so that's always a question that you're always kind of thinking about. I, for one, am always thinking about it. I kind of because I think especially me personally, when I'm thinking of things I want to kind of do in the ring and stuff, I like to kind of have things that I could maybe hit situationally or hit on everybody, and I like being able to batter everybody. I am the big boss man. I like hitting people hard and doing my thing, but at the moment there's a fair few. Like I've always said it, and I will continue to say it probably. Shah Samuels, who used to train me back in London. Just a legend, and I've got limitless respect for him, and that would be a nice full circle moment for me personally as well. But even like there's a tag team up here called Act Two, Jack Knudsen and Benjamin Harlan, either one of them, James Ellis, Jay Joshua, Harrison Bennett, just some of these amazing names that are coming up at the moment, and like you see these people and you kind of think like, oh, there's no chance like I could get to that level, but like even every day I feel like it's clicking a lot more, and I feel like once I work hard and I really put that work in, I'm really wanting to make a name for myself here. I'm not here just to kind of muck about and do what people come in and train and try and play the part. Like, I really want to see how far I can take it, and I feel like having people like that in your crosshairs is kind of it sets a target to work to, and because those guys are so talented and they're brilliant at what they do, if I was given the opportunity to wrestle these people, I know I'm doing something right because I'm put in that situation. So obviously I'm doing something right. My hard work's paying off. But there's so many. Like if you look at like even like AEW and stuff, or like WWE, like your Gunther's, your Dragunovs, your Brody Kings, that's just the style of wrestling I really enjoy. And even I've been watching a lot of older wrestling, so like if I could have a time machine and go back, Genichiro Tenryu, Akiyama, Kobashi Misawa, Gordy Hansen, I've just all of those guys, man. And yeah, man, it's just I think it's comparison's the thief of joy, so I try and stay away from that. I don't want to compare myself to too many people because I don't want to maybe not reach a target I set on myself and beat myself up about it. But I do feel I feel you should aim high, because if you aim high and you miss, you land in the clouds. And like, I'd love to tangle with any one of those lads that I mentioned, in the current crop, because limitless respect for them all.
All right.
They're people I really want to fight at the end of the day. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So, how about your upcoming opponent, Vinny Cray? What are your thoughts on him?
So Vinny Cray, obviously, kind of bit of a brash big talker. He's obviously probably really capable fella. I understand these challenges and stuff, and I know it's going to be a good laugh. I know we're going to have fun, and it's going to be really cool and a nice, nice enjoyable episode of the Coach Bergen show. However, again, I'd like to meet him in the middle of that ring, because I think I think he's good. I like him. I like what I'm seeing at the moment. I want to have a tussle with him. I love wrestling people, anybody, anytime, as I said, and if he beats me at this, I might have to come and try and get that belt back now by any means necessary. But no, he's a lad. He's a loudmouth, big talker. I like to think that I can, run my mouth with the best of him. So I'm excited to see how this plays out. I'm excited to see Vinny Cray. Really looking forward to it.
It's gonna be a fun episode, and then once we got this one, then we'll be able to have more episodes where we have challenges for the title, and then I'd like to have multiple titles where there's a pro wrestling one and then one for MMA, and then maybe another one if I start having like a third I guess niche of guests for everybody not in those two categories. But like most of the guests I have are usually MMA fighters, and then after that is pro wrestlers. So nice. I would like to have a quote unquote title championship for for both categories, and then maybe have a champion versus champion episode in the future.
That sounds good.
Could be something cool. But
That sounds very good.
yeah. All right. If you could give one piece of advice to wrestlers first starting out, what would it be?
I think the best advice is one that I still kind of, I still take on myself. It's just be consistent. I remember when I first started wrestling and I first got to the London School of Wrestling under Rev Pro back in London. And I remember I first went and I was excited and I loved it. And I went as much as I could, as often as I could. And I really threw myself into it and I really loved it. And I remember I got hurt. I'd dislocated one of my knees in the ring doing something silly. It wasn't even anything necessarily like dangerous or like a high spot, if you will, but I just came down wrong on my knee and it just went. And I remember feeling devastated because I just remember being, I can't get hurt. And I realized, I was like, do you know what? Like, as much as I love wrestling and wrestling has given me so much, wrestling at the end of the day owes you nothing. If you are a wrestler and you're starting out, you should be doing it because you love it, because you want to give your everything to it. Like for me, it's pretty much most of, if not everything I think about. I love it. I know that every time I wake up, I can wake up some days, I can go to training, I can feel like absolute crap. Like I can feel like I'm slow, I'm heavy, but I know that those days where it's really hard, there are going to be another time where you'll go and you'll just feel on, and it will all feel like coming into, like, falling into place, if you will. It's something also recently I've learned also is just take every single person's advice. Like everybody, especially coaches and especially people that are maybe higher on the card than you, or like people that have been and done stuff in the industry, like just their input is invaluable. Like my coach at the moment, Flash Morgan Webster, one of my coaches, former, WWE NXT UK Tag Team Champion, Impact Tag Team Champion. When I first met him and I was training, I'd take feedback and I'd be a bit annoyed at myself because I could have done it. But instead of being like, oh no, like, okay, how about maybe I try this way, and pick people's brain and I'd pick his brain about bits and bobs, and just because they're there to help you. So just be humble, just take every day as it comes, and just remember why you're there in the first place. It's because you love wrestling, or it should be because you love wrestling. And just remember that, like, to have fun. Like, end of the day, wrestling is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be for everybody. Everyone can, train and have fun and use it as an escapism from how shit everyday life is. You can spend 2 hours with your mates and have a laugh, get some good nick, get yourself a bit tired, a bit blown up, and just have fun with your friends, really. That's all it is. And just remember to never take yourself too seriously and always be, malleable and open to advice and suggestions. That's my personal. But what do I know? I've only had 15 matches. Nothing comes some sort of, some clever clogs.
No, I think you're right. And I think we can definitely, take advice from, I want to say almost everybody, because I think there's definitely people you shouldn't take advice from. And, like if they're not doing as well as you are in whatever it is you're trying to pursue, their advice will definitely not be as valuable as someone who's excelling at it. So it doesn't necessarily mean to like not listen to it or disregard it, but like, I guess not put as much weight into it when, it's somebody that isn't doing what you want to be doing or where you want to be.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But at the same time, like if it was like a fan giving you advice, that might actually be useful, even if they're not a pro wrestler, which is fine, because they're from an outside perspective. And so, they're looking in from the entertainment side of it, looking to be entertained, and they see something that you might not notice because you're involved in it. And, so yeah, I can get behind that, where it's important to take advice from everybody. But at the same time, I think that it's still like some advice you don't want to necessarily put your full, energy into following either. Because you don't know necessarily that it's going to work or not. But it really depends who it's from and who you're talking to and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's see, what else do we got here? We got if we could do any kind of match, if you could do any kind of match, what would it be?
Oh, that's such a cool question because there's so many. I've always been drawn to kind of. I used to obviously when I first started watching wrestling, it was WWE. So you have all these kind of different stipulations, but I love I love just a bog standard one-on-one that goes a while and you can get a lot of stuff in. But if you had to say any match, I like anything with weapons. I think are cool. You can do so much of it. You can have an element to it, like a ladder match. I think would be amazing. I have a predisposition to chuck my body into various scenarios in which I may get hurt. Because the way I see it, it might be a bit of a meat-headed kind of silly way to view wrestling, but any match can feasibly be your last. So I really like putting a show on, or I try to at least every time I go out, and I do take some silly bumps, and I do put myself in some precarious situations. But it's because I care about wrestling so much, and it's because you never know. I know there's a idea of like a bump card. I think I mentioned this on the last one I was on. Like, you only have so many bumps. A couple of people have been really badly hurt and their careers have ended. But and even worse, Mizuho Misawa sadly, passed away in the ring, just on a back suplex, but just because of years and years of just damage and I have the utmost respect, and I totally understand that you need to keep your opponent safe first and yourself safe, and I think that can also, in a storyline sense and in a narrative aspect of it, stuff where you have a little bit more risk, I think can add a lot more drama. And I love telling a story, and I love the danger aspect of it. So like a ladder match, any hardcore match, tag match is also so fun.
What about a buried alive match?
Buried alive match. So for me, buried alive match, I might just be a bit, push the glasses up the brim of my nose kind of blow. Not even necessarily hesitant, but I think with that, or like a casket match, or like an ambulance match, or anything like that, I feel like the visual and the labor of trying to get somebody to a spot, I think to me it can cause a bit of a lull. Whereas if you have something like a hardcore match, or like a tables match, or like a ladder match, it's always that kind of thing there.
So there's always action, you're saying, as opposed to...
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. It dragging out. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And I think, and that's just me personally, everybody,
I get what you're saying.
It's an art subjective, anybody can, look at whatever they see and appreciate different aspects of it. But just for me personally, I think having, and I think also it's kind of Chekhov's gun, where if you see something, you have to pay it off. Like if I set a table up and I don't touch it, what's the point of getting the table out? If I get a ladder out and I never climb it, what's the point?
Right.
I think I'd like to take a gnarly bump off a ladder. I think that'd be cool.
Okay. To get knocked down off the ladder?
Yeah, I'd take like a nasty back bump off from like silly higher.
All right.
I used to love watching. I think some of the first matches I ever really watched was like TLC 2, or like the Dudleys versus the Hardys at the Royal Rumble 2000, and just like that kind of carnage. But also like the spot where Devon is on the table, he rolls off the table onto another table and then moves out of that one as Matt comes crashing through. Like you can have so much cool stuff happen, so much dynamic stuff happening that you can watch and just be enthralled. I was, at least. But
Because there's
you
always
never know.
action.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. Like, I'd love to do that. I think it would be such an amazing, opportunity, and the ideas that I think you can have, and I have ideas of doing spots and stuff like in matches like that. I think would just be at least like entertaining to watch. Like, I think it's something I've always wanted to do, like kind of like tables, ladders, chairs, anything like that. Just getting a bit nitty and gritty and a bit.
All right. So what about like a cage match? Would you do that?
I would love to do a cage match. I'd absolutely bite anyone's hand off to do a cage match. I'd love to do it. I love cage matches. I can't believe I didn't even think of that, man. Cage matches are so good. Owen and Brett, man, like it's the best. Owen and Brett in that cage at Mania 10. It's just amazing. And like, I remember I watched. It was one of the first matches I watched. There's a wrestling company in Bristol called Pro Wrestling Chaos, and it's incredibly. It's such a good promotion. Like, I urge you, if you have some spare time, they've got a lot of their stuff on YouTube. Check it out, man. Pro Wrestling Chaos is incredible. But the last time I went to crew an event there to help out, it was a 4-way cage match, and it was Brendan White, who was the champion at the time, against Danny Jones, against Spike Trevay, against Harrison Bennett. It was a fatal 4-way, like in a cage, but it was like staggered entrance. And oh my gosh, some of the stuff was just incredible. And like, I think cage matches as well, because it's kind of like in a normal singles match, I can punch you in the face and you can like roll out the ring, get pretty. But I think when it's more claustrophobic when you're in
In
those
cage.
4 cage walls. Like,
Yeah. So you were saying it was a staggered entrance. Was it kind of like the Elimination Chamber, like how that works?
yeah. So 2 people started off in the cage.
Yep.
And then 2 people came down, would like come down the entranceway after,
Oh, so more like Royal Rumble then.
A little bit rumbly, and then into the cage, and then when everybody was in the cage, it was as you said, a bit elimination chambery, where bang, you're in there, door shuts, right, who's winning? And it was, I think it was elimination, pardon me, if memory recalls. But I just remember watching that live with Andy Hendricks. He's a friend of mine, the King of Suave Style. He's a fantastic wrestler. And I was just looking at him, we were just both wincing, like, there's so much drama, and there's so much like, just like images of like people getting like pressed up against the cage, and like just getting like the door slammed on their head, or like a bump off the top of the cage. Like, that's so cool. Yeah.
Did you see anyone jump off the cage?
I didn't see anyone jump off the cage, but Brendan White had Duke Deegan, who's kind of like who was at the time a GM kind of managery role, and Duke is a crazy guy, because Brendan White had him on the top rope and hit him with a Death Valley driver off the top rope. I was just like, oh my god! Crowd came unglued for it. It was incredible. But just like stuff like that, I just think it's so interesting and so fun, and you can just do so much with it. But like also just, you can get the same amount of reaction and the same amount of suspense and stuff in singles matches. I just think I'm a bit of a nutter, and I love the idea of just getting my head beaten in by like anything really. I think I'm a bit mental in that kind of sense, where I think you don't necessarily need it.
Have you ever been hit with a sledgehammer?
Not that I remember. If I have, I've been hit in the face with a hockey stick once. That hurt.
Oh wow!
My little sister wrapped a hockey stick around my head when I was 7 years old.
Oh, so that wasn't pro wrestling. That was real life. Okay. All right.
My longest feud.
Your longest feud. Yeah, I imagine. Damn. Okay. But in any matches, like you haven't experienced that. How about
not yet?
Chair shots.
I've done nothing yet in terms of weapons or anything like that, and I think once I do, I think my eagerness and my morbid curiosity will do a complete 180, and I will absolutely not want to do it again. But I think it's kind of also just like, you kind of watch it grown up and you watch it like to this day, you watch it, and I think you get a bit swept up in the allure of like getting battered by a chair, like going through a table. Everyone thinks about it and goes, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." But I've not experienced it, but like I've spoken to a couple guys who've taken stuff and they've just been like, "You want to do what? You want to take what? No, man, you're a nutter." This is like, I think just again, more be curiosity. Like, I'd love to do it. I think it would just be so cool. But I think I want to focus first though on getting more reps. You know, I just want to become a better wrestler and I want to be the best I can be. I really respect people that do hardcore matches and stuff, and I mean this with obviously no disrespect and no heat or shade or nothing, but I don't want to be known for just that. I want to be known as like a good storyteller, like a good wrestler, and then I can still do that kind of stuff. And I think it's all in time. It's all in time. I need to be able to work a match properly first, you know, without getting knackered on my entrance, you know, standing on the ropes and being like, I'm shut. Go home earlier, so. But nah, all in good time. Hopefully, all in good time.
Yeah, I'm kind of comparing it in my mind to like Triple H is who I think of, where he's known as like a wrestler, of course, but he could do those hardcore type of, you know, antics, matches, whatever, as well. And so that kind of sounds like the path you're trying to go for with that. And initially, when you were talking about doing like a 180 on it and going all into it, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, so Billy John Foley.
Billy John Foley. That'd be class. I loved Mick Foley, man. I remember like watching Mick Foley. Obviously, everyone's seen the Mankind off the top of the cell and like the spear through the table with Edge and stuff. But I used to go and watch like his old stuff in Japan and stuff, and just some of the stuff he'd do is like just some of the bumps on like the concrete and stuff. Like it's crazy. Like that would hurt so bad. Like it wouldn't hurt bad. It would hurt so bad. And like obviously he's obviously like his walking's not brilliant, and that's obviously like a culmination of just all of that stuff. But like again, people don't remember Foley's bloody good at wrestling. Like he's so good in the ring. I think people just associate him with that because he did it a lot and he was so good at it and he was so memorable doing it because of the spots and bumps he did. But like he was also such a giving guy. Like if you think about the match he had with Orton at Backlash, I can't remember the year to save my life. It might have been 06, maybe 08. When Orton goes for the RKO, he lifts him up, bang, smashes him into the tacks, right? Like that's not Foley taking something. That's him doing something with someone. But still, Orton won that match and he looked brilliant. Like when he won the belt, when you know Schiavone said the result, like he won the belt there, and even like stuff against like Vader in Japan and stuff, and like Terry Funk and stuff. Like he can go, or he could go. Pardon me. Like he was brilliant, and I think people, when they see people that do a lot of more deathmatchy kind of stuff, or people that bleed quite a lot. So like a big thing that I remember even reading quite recently was about Mox. Mox obviously bleeds quite a lot. It's the style of wrestling he likes. And I remember hearing him say that if he's bleeding, it's like you can see that he's in a fight, like, and it adds that element to it. But people forget, like John Moxley's incredible. Like him wrestling he's such a good wrestler because he looks, especially in the Death Riders stuff, like he just looks hard as nails, and he's got that kind of now with Shafir, like almost like a shooty style, which I think works amazingly. I watched him live at AEW when they came to the UK. He was against Roderick Strong in the C2, and that was incredible. It was so good. The rest of Okada was brilliant. But then he can do that stuff, like getting suplexed on a 2x4 with nails in it. Hangman match, bleeding everywhere.
I'm certain I've seen him thrown onto tacks. Onto tacks, like thumbtacks. Like off of, like I think it was off of a ladder onto thumbtacks. I could be wrong. It might not have been off of a ladder.
Insane, isn't it?
But it's like he is a very, very durable person. And
his pain pressure must be so high.
Yeah. It's actually amazing that he doesn't have any like CTE or like is still alive. Like the fact that he's still alive is actually pretty crazy. Like I'm pretty sure one of the most like replayed clips is him falling off of the cage or getting thrown off of the cage. And like into the announcers table or whatever, through the announcers table outside the ring. But either way, I also remember that he played Santa Claus during, all the WWE like Christmas shows that they did. And yeah. And I don't remember if they called him Foley Claus or if he was just Santa, but he always played Santa Claus. And yeah. So, but all right. So, what do you think of Kurt Angle? Would you wrestle him?
Yeah, 100%.
And what kind of match?
I'd like just a straight up match, like a one-on-one, like a submission, like just something that would be like us. Because I love Angle. I used to love his stuff when he was like with Team Angle, and I thought he was amazing because he could do like comedy stuff and like the really serious stuff, which is like what I love because I grew up doing like performing arts and like drama and stuff. So I really like comedy, and I feel like I'm a big guy. So sometimes people think I'm a big fella, but I can do the funny stuff. Like I love comedy and making people laugh. But Angle, I love like I remember when he first came in. Well, I don't remember. I wasn't watching it, but I remember watching that for the first kind of time, like when Taz debuted against him in the Rumble in 2000, and then like with all the stuff against like Triple H, all the stuff against like Jericho stuff, and then like all the stuff with Brock, and then his TNA run, which was amazing. Because I remember around that time my friend was watching TNA, and I didn't really know when I was in like high school. I think I was like 14, 15. And I thought WWE was the only wrestling about. And then my buddy was like, no, have a look at this. And then showed me TNA, and it was like Abyss and like Sting. And then I was like, oh, that's Kurt Angle. And like, oh, that's, like Hogan and like all of the older guys from WWE went there. But I remember like Angle against like Abyss and stuff. And I was like, this is incredible. And when he did the moonsault onto Mr. Anderson, and I was like, oh, like he landed on his face. But like just Kurt Angle he's on my Mount Rushmore for sure. Like he's one of my favorite wrestlers to watch and study. Like his match against Rey Mysterio at SummerSlam 02 is brilliant. I mean, it's 9 minutes, best opening match of all time, hands down. Like he's so good.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
love to have an Iron Man match with him. Why not?
Iron Man match. Okay, that would be a good one. I think
Iron Lang match. Come on.
Iron Land match. All right. All right. I like that. Cool. So we'll have to make that happen. Maybe for the CBS Pro Wrestling title sometime. We can get an Iron Man match between you and Kurt Angle. I just got to meet him first,
Yeah.
and then get him on the show a couple times, and then he can compete against you. But you would have to beat Vinny for it first, So we'll see in 3 episodes who walks away with the championship.
We will see. Say that 4-3. We will see.
We'll see. We'll see. But, all right, cool. Do you have anything else you want to share with us today before we go?
Ace Taylor sucks eggs. Vinny Craig's going down. Yeah, that's probably about it, really. That's all I'm coming my head at the moment. Johnny Wildman's a good lad. New Wave Wrestling's class. Rev Pro's bloody class. Wrestling's bloody class. Get out and watch more. Get up! Come on. Gosh.
All right. Cool. Well, I'm glad we got you on the show today. And I'll see you again in 3 episodes when you compete for the title. And we'll make it happen. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Billy John Langer.
I wake up scrolling down, tired, so numb. Alarm yelling, dream big. I hit snooze, dream done. Life ain't bad, that's the problem though. Pain on layaway, comfort keeping me broke. I say, one day like it's scheduled in my phone. But someday ain't a day, it's a zone I never go. Got talent in the trunk, fear driving the car. Waiting to feel ready like that's ever how it starts. I keep asking for a sign, universe like you are. You don't need motivation, you need to move your butt. Everybody Everybody wanna change, but they comfy in the cage. Living quiet desperation, call it normal, call it safe. If you waiting on a feeling, you gon' wait another year. Do the work while you scared, confidence appear. Yeah, comfort's a trap, discipline the map. Act first, feelings follow, that's a psychological fact. I thought I needed confidence to finally begin. Turns out confidence is built by repeatedly taking L's and then winning. Brain say chill, heart say more, ego say tomorrow, discipline say floor. Push-ups when I'm tired, mic on when I'm dry. Posting when it's cringy, truth louder than my pride. Life don't change from thoughts, it changes from reps. Every small uncomfortable step, cash and interest on self-respect. Nobody coming to save you, that's a cheat code. Scary at first and it frees your soul. Pain of effort or pain of regret, pick one, either way you pay the debt. Everybody wanna change, but they comfy in the cage. Living quiet desperation, call it normal, call it safe. If you waiting on a feeling, you gon' wait another year. Do the work while you scared, confidence appear. Yeah, comfort's a trap, discipline the map. Act first, feelings follow, yeah, remember that. No montage music when you starting from the floor. Just you versus you, no applause, no encore. But every time you choose hard over easy, you rewrite the story, make the future less greasy. I ain't special, I'm consistent when it sucks. That's the difference between dreams and actual stuff. So I move before I'm ready, let the nerves come along. Fear in the passenger seat, but I'm driving this song. Quiet desperation, loud until you act. Life don't get better, you get better than that.
Okay, hold up. I open a book and suddenly I'm getting therapy. Universe acting like my mom sending signals through a parody. Pages looking at me like, yo bro, you got clarity? Like damn, can I read in peace without a whole prosperity prophecy? Book said, learn the illusion so you live the solution, bro. What kind of spiritual fortune cookie institution did I stumble into? Now I'm trying to act like future me, walking around the house like, hey, look at this millionaire energy. Tear up the page, said, bro, why? I'm fine. I ain't trying to cry on a paperback spine, but universe wild like, yo, leak that brine. Turn your trauma into power like a self-help wine. Mistakes are advantages, man. Is this a game show? Like, congrats, you messed up. Here's another bankroll. Enemies follow heroes. Cool, let the hate grow. I turn haters into cardio. Watch me hit a pace, though. Hey, I'm learning the illusion till I become it. Moving so fast you would think I hit a summit. Every little mistake, ha, watch me rerun it. Turn it to a lesson, then I'm flexing while I drum it. Boom, 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 destiny coming. Universe talking, I ain't even running. Pages looking up like, kid, you onto something. Become the illusion, stop acting like you ain't the one in. I'm falling for the wrong girls, classic me I guess. Trying to save them like a discount, Clarkin in distress. Universe says stop simping, king, regain your finesse. Your boundaries looking thinner than a CVS receipt, yes. Damn, now I'm practicing self-love like it's P90X. Meditating on my purpose while I'm dropping these reps. Got 1,000 push-ups popping like a spiritual flex. And my mistakes get monetized as passive income from my ex. Cartoons daily like I'm running Saturday morning. Jiu-jitsu monkey teaching morals, kids absorb it. Catch up and Kyle hitting festivals, they adore it. Nobody knows I'm the creator, but their merch sales gorgeous. Yeah, I am learning the illusion till I become it. Universe roasting me like I summoned it. Every dumb moment, boy, I overcome it. Turn it to a banger while the haters say I'm stunning. Mistakes on mistakes, yeah, I run it. Enemies lurking, cool, keep drumming. Life is a movie and the credits keep humming like, become the illusion kid. Stop frontin', I'm like, why every lesson gon' hit me when I'm chillin'? Can I read one page without emotional spillin'? Universe said, nope, you got a destiny to fill in. Alright bro, fine, let me finish this villain. Killin'. Now I'm walking in the frame like I built the frame. Head high, good posture, yeah, I milked the flame. Every mistake, repurposed, I tilt the game. Past version of me looking proud like dang, he became what he aimed. Kids inspired, pork expire, passive income getting higher. Vision clearer, dreams near, universe hired me as a cashier. And the message from the book is severe. If you don't finish this film, your destiny stays in first gear. Say no more, I'm here. Let's steer. Hey, I'm learning the illusion till I become it. Turning every flow to win, yeah, I love it. Universe loud like a drum and it's drumming. Finish up the film, kid, your future's already running.
A coma is just a comma in your life. Trust and believe everything will be alright. Be alright. You ain't done yet, you just paused mid-fall. In your life, trust and believe everything will be alright. Be alright. You ain't done yet, you just paused mid-fall. the jungle with my people by my side. Didn't know that in the moment I'd be fighting for my life. Felt the world start spinning, colors all fade to white. Next thing I knew, I was falling out of sight. Heard voices in the darkness saying, coach, hold tight. But the fear in Queen DC had me wanting to fight. Dreams turn to storms when you can't stand the bright. But every storm breaks when you step into the light. A coma is just a comma in your life. Trust and believe everything will be alright. Be alright. You ain't done yet, you just paused it. Trust and believe everything will be alright. You ain't done yet, you just paused mid-fight. In the hospital bed, trying to piece back time. Maya told me, breathe, one step you'll climb. Truth lying, drop facts while the monitors chime. Said your brain hit a wall, but your hope still shines. Juji made jokes when the nights felt long. Panda read stories, keeping my heart strong. Hilarious hood pulled pranks, but he meant no wrong. And Stamps hustled salts when the pressure felt on. Every dream I battled was a lesson in disguise. Every fall just to set up for a stronger rise. When Queen JC cried, man, it opened my eyes. I ain't quitting on my people, ain't no goodbye. A coma is just a comma in your life. Trust and believe everything will be alright. Be alright. You ain't done yet, you just paused mid-fight. Trust and believe everything will be alright. You ain't done yet, you just paused mid-fight. He's good. He's more than good. He's still winning. A setback ain't a sentence. It's just a pause in the paragraph. I woke up with a vision and the fire in my chest. Every scar I carry is a reason I'm blessed. Life hit hard, but I hit back twice. Yeah, I'm alright.
Thank you to my sponsor, Coma Dreams. A coma is just a comma in your life. Tonight proved that you pause, you breathe, and you finish the sentence. We did that, we finished
You
it.
looked unstoppable out there.
I didn't quit. Coma Dreams prove comebacks are real. Thank you, coach. I told y'all, no matter how deep it gets, wake up and fight.
Coma Dreams stayed with me. They reminded me not to take any day for granted. Just being healthy, training, and showing up is something to be thankful for.
I didn't expect this, but Coma Dreams actually hit me. Watching Coach go through that made me realize how fragile life is and why you don't waste your shot. This isn't a movie, it's life. It is what it is.
You know, I didn't expect to get hit this hard by a film, but Coma Dreams just wrecked me in the best way. The way it showed someone fighting their way back, step by step, it felt honest, like rolling here on the mats.
All right, I watched Coma Dreams, and I'm going to tell you, Coach's recovery, that was truly inspiring. That's a story worth watching.
I've chased titles my whole life. Coma Dreams reminded me the real prize is waking up and getting another chance. I'm grateful. Thank you, Coach.
I've been knocked down more times than I can count. Coma Dreams reminded me, you never quit, you keep standing back up. Shout out to Coma Dreams. A coma is just a comma in your life. We finished the sentence and we finished the fight. Thank you, Coach.
Congratulations on the win. What's the message tonight?
Train by day, Coma Dreams by night, all day.